And then I guess what I was going to say earlier was like, well, the entrepreneur too, like there's a spectrum of entrepreneur, right?
Mm,
Everyone who's tried it, a side hustle, and that doesn't mean they're the most like knowledgeable but you want to go and you want to look at the people over on the other side that are like, how do you have multiple $1 million businesses? Because that's probably the guy you want to learn from, not like, Uncle Sam that I shouldn't say Sam. That sounds like the government, but you know, Uncle Ed that you got a side hustle, you got burned and this and that. Like
yeah.
he doesn't have all that skill set, like the systems and process as these guys that know how to make money even in the tough time. And the entrepreneur, to me, their skill set is they're actually creative people that they're just like, oh, the market's doing this, well then I'm going to pivot, I'm going to do this. Compared to people without that creativity, they're just like, what do we do? Oh man, there's always something to do, you
Yeah.
just got to get creative about it. So
Dude, that's a that's a amazing observation, dude. It's the same thing. It's the same entrepreneurship, investing.
yeah.
You got to develop the skills and the education.
And I love it that we were saying the word skills and education, because um, Myron Golden pointed this out to me, but skill is the same word in the Bible as wisdom. Like wisdom is kind
Mm,
of sounds churchy and just it's hard to really define what that is. Like because I just don't use that word a lot in my vernacular day to day. But if you say skill, I totally get that because I had soccer skills. I have this skill. I was a
yeah.
firefighter. I had skill there. And, like I understand the word skill, and that's literally what it is. And I've played against, like, say, let's use soccer. I've played against very highly skilled people and not so skilled people. And it's like, I fall in between here. And that's the thing that sets apart the game that you're playing, right? Is how much
Yeah.
skill do you have? How far can you go? Well,
Yep.
the thing that pushed my skill the most was my coaches, not me, right?
Mm,
It's like I had some internal drive, but it was literally the people that made me practice, right? They ran the practice, they ran
right.
the soccer camp, they ran this. Like I mean, I had some success in college, like I guess my sophomore year, made the all-star team and we had a
Okay.
championship. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, dude. So I played some sports, but I have to give credit to the coaches that made us practice so hard and pushed me like beyond what I wanted to really do.
Right.
Um, and I even had a friend, I would say mentor, Kyle Vierick. That dude literally like I didn't even want to go play that year. He came to my house and said, I don't know what he would have done, but he's like, no, you're coming. I'm picking you up. We're get your cleats. We're going to soccer camp. And I'm like, oh yes, sir. Okay.
I love that. That's
Best
awesome.
best year of my life. I'm telling you, it was crazy. It was fun. And then, those we had four coaches that just took that team like just beyond. It was awesome to a championship. So I like that model, and I'm over the last probably 3 or 4 years kind of pivoted that to life, right? Like I went through a hard time in my marriage. I feel like trying to do startups at the same time and side hustles and all these things,
Yeah.
and then struggle with my kids. And I was like, dude, I'm trying to do all this as this low skilled guy entrepreneur instead of saying, instead of putting all this money into the startup and these things, what if I just paid this guy who's like running millions of dollar businesses and
Right.
just learn from him? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
Figure out how is he doing it? What
am
at
I
least what does he have to say? You
Yeah, can
know.
I skip some of the like hard knocks of entrepreneurship that everyone seems to have? And anyways, that's kind of my new perspective. So I, I love that you're coming out with coaching. You got, you know what I mean? You're helping people develop brands because you're helping entrepreneurs. They all need help to go from this skill here to the low skill to the high skill. And um,
Yeah, dude.
anyways, I think you're walking in
Skills
that,
pay the
dude.
bills.
Your skills pay the bill. So, I mean, you brought up Brad Lee. So, like, what is your current education flow? Like, where are you getting information or mentorship, or um, how does that look for Cameron?
Bro, I'm getting it everywhere, man.
Yeah.
uh, and dude, that's whenever you were mentioning the coaches, I played a little bit of college ball myself for like 6 months. I started, it was awesome, but I had a baby back in Georgia and I was in North Dakota, so I said peace.
Gotcha.
But coaches, I think have the ability to, even if we can't see past like our certain level of potential, like I really don't want all that, like, but they've already been there, and so they know, like, okay, but dude, it's possible, man. Like, I see it in you. Like, you gotta keep going. Like, it's there, and that's what I love about coaches. But dude, where my information comes from, so whenever I first got started, it was completely different. I just found whoever was on YouTube, and I think that's a great place for people to start. Is whatever information you can get it's better than no information. But I would encourage people, just look at someone's life. Do they live a life that you want to model? Like, is their lifestyle the same that you want? Because whenever I first started in the entrepreneur, like, self-development stuff, I followed this guy. He was talking about, not really committing to any woman, but he had a nice car and made a lot of money. So I was like, and I was younger. I was like, yo, that's cool, but that kind of caused some issues in my development, because I'm learning from someone that is modeling their life in a way that isn't congruent to my life, and so now, I model my life out for people that want to impact, inspire, educate, and do they have a family? That's a big one. Like, even people in business, like, if someone doesn't have a family, I don't know if I can trust you, man, because you don't got no real skin in the game, these dudes that are like 50 with no kids. I'm like, can I really trust you, dude? Like, it's been this long and you don't got you haven't found nobody yet. I mean, but the people that I learned from the most. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I think of like the person I was before I had a kid and the person I had after having even just one kid, and we have 5 kids. I'm like,
oh,
dude,
man.
that's kids just absolutely force you to serve another little human being. Like, I just didn't realize how much I served myself until I had this baby. And it's like, man, we got to do everything for you. Like, it's just constant serving. And so I hear what you're saying. Like, people that had kids have, like, they've created this little person and they learn how to serve other people. Like, that's a huge attribute that parents typically have. Not everyone does that well, but anyways.
Yeah, that and dude, even if, like, people, if you can't commit into a relationship, can I really trust you to commit to
interesting
like it's something else? If you can't even bend and like come together with a person and commit to them, like, bro, dude, I could go on and on about that. But most of my information now comes from GC, Bradley. Those are like the 2 biggest ones. I do watch, like Alex Hormozy a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
People that are building real businesses.
Yeah.
That aren't just, and this goes back to don't die an old salesman. Like, this, in the beginning, I learned from people that were stuck in the business. That's all they did. But now I'm trying to learn from people that are able to create businesses and then get themselves out of the operation, out of being an operator very quickly and on to the next thing, becoming the investor.
That's good.
Like, that's the model. That's the ticket, man.
Dude, that's really good. I'm kind of coming about this from like a different angle, like, because I want to be the investor too, except we're more investing in businesses, right? Like, directly to businesses, and they may or may not have real estate with them. So there's and then real estate will be an additional thing, but like more like the secondary and
You getting the
tertiary.
cash flow. You getting the cash
Yeah.
flow from the business.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the route we went because of people that we saw that was like, dude, these businesses are what cash flows,
Yeah.
like, and businesses have been around. There's the backbone of the US is the economy is small businesses,
Yeah, dude.
um,
Dude, I've looked
so
at that too.
interesting.
That's something I've really looked at, and I think it's not talked about enough. I think
Sure.
it's a huge opportunity.
If you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire interview, click right here.